Last weekend, I went out to Leadville, Colorado to visit my brother. Less than 24 hours in, and I was already roped into sweeping the Fun Run course, all 10 miles of it while it was snowing. Leadville sits at 10,200 feet above sea level, which made running very difficult. Then, on Sunday, we spent 4 hours tele-skiing, which was completely new to me, before hopping on an airport shuttle and flying home. Needless to say, last weekend was an adventure. All my life, I have been taught to embrace adventure, and that is what I have done and will continue to do. Our family has always chased adventure, even on vacation. For example, when I was 8, my parents decided it would be a good idea to hike to the bottom of the Grand Canyon and back up the next day. As an 8-year-old, I decided the only thing I should carry in my pack was my footy pajamas, and my parents should carry my other stuff. It was an adventure for my family, and it was just the beginning of our adventure vacations. We've never gone on a beach vacation or any other relaxing vacation. The value that my parents have instilled in me is that trips should be adventurous and, if possible, rustic. Although adventure vacations are common, I also spend time adventuring daily. Whether that adventure is a long, hard ski with trailing after my brothers, or exploring my backyard with my dogs, or even trying to find a flat campsite in the mountains. Throughout all of these experiences, both planned and unplanned, I have not only been taught to love adventuring, but also I have been taught to chase adventure. This love of chasing adventure started when I was very little. My best friend and I would go explore the trails behind my house, making maps and having picnics all day, day after day, week after week. Even now that we are older, we have never stopped adventuring. Sometimes we will bike up to the nearby lake after school, or even drive 5 hours up to my cabin just for a weekend of adventures together. No matter what, we never get tired of adventuring together. In addition to adventuring with my friend as a child, I have hopelessly chased my brothers and end up on interesting adventures. I followed my brothers everywhere, and from them, I learned how to swim, how to never give up, and how to not let anyone stop you, especially your 2 older brothers. As I ran around my house trying to save my stuffed animals from a trip down the laundry chute, I didn't give up. So even though my brothers thought they were bugging me, they actually were teaching me, and I loved their attention. To this day, I continue to adventure with my brothers and continue to learn from them. These childhood adventures have made me who I am and guide me in my life. When most people stress about school, work, or some other drama, I opt outside, up north, or anywhere away from the stress. Adventures have not only offered an outlet for stress, but also they have allowed me to leave my comfort zone and experience incredible things. As I have grown up, I have learned to seek outdoor adventures on my own. The best is hiking all day and camping at night in remote mountainous wilderness areas with a small group of girls from YMCA Camp Wichita. Typically, we are all on our own in the mountains, but one night this summer, we had some unexpected visitors. My group and I had set up camp and gone to bed when we were woken a few hours later by mountain goats. Not only were our tents encircled by an entire family of mountain goats, but the goats were also eating grass and their kids were jumping around, scaring themselves and squeaking all night long. This adventure was terrifying in the moment, but after we safely left the campsite, it was a great memory. These summer trips pushed me out of my comfort zone and made me want more, so I decided to spend my junior year fall away. While many juniors were stressed about school, friends, parties, and etc., I was able to focus on what was important to me, living life, learning to learn, and adventuring all the time. At Heimann Institute, every day was an adventure. That is not to say it was an easy way out of junior year. Flying across the country to a new school with new people you've never met and then returning 4 months later is hard. I never thought it could be as hard to leave and return to MPA. Additionally, HMI is not an easy school, and every day was a new and challenging adventure. Every morning started with mandatory outdoor exercise at 7:25 a.m. One morning, for morning exercise, not surprisingly, I decided to go ski. Instead of just skiing, I decided to go find my friend's coffee mug in a river about 1.5 miles away. When I found the river where the mug was, I could not see anything but ice. After thinking about the mug's location, I determined it must be under the ice. So naturally, I decided to jump on the ice until it broke under me. Once I broke the ice, I dug out the frozen coffee mug and returned to campus, cold and wet, but happy. These morning adventures happen daily. Before 8 a.m., I was awake, happy, and more productive than most teenagers are all day. For school, we had class from 9 to 5:30 with an hour break for lunch. After dinner, we had 1 hour of free time before a 2-hour study hall where you were required to be silent and work on homework because at 9:45, your computers were turned in and you were to be in your cabin ready for bed in order to get enough sleep and be at roll call by 7:25 the next morning. While the cabins were our homes, they were without electricity, heat, or water. And so every night was an adventure. If the sun wasn't out during the day, there were no lights. If no fire was started, it was cold. And if you had to go to the bathroom, it was a freezing walk away. No part of the experience was easier than staying at home with lifelong friends at the school I grew up in, but it was the best decision I've made so far. Through all of these experiences, I've learned that adventure is hard, but it is also rewarding for the sense of accomplishment I've felt at the end. It has taught me independence, yet also teamwork. For me, adventuring has been the best way to learn, and I would like to continue to adventure for the rest of my life. I would like to thank my family for always encouraging adventure, Katie Wallace for always being ready to adventure with me, and all my friends who have ever been on an adventure with me, whether that be running through a bog or climbing a mountain. Never stop adventuring.